I start off the year with Sajid sir's film. I'm on a 2-film deal with him. So yeah, it's an action romance genre, and we're definitely going to scale up in both the action and the script content, definitely. And we're trying to give the audience something new. So let's see. We're hoping for the best. We're going to work very hard. After this, I move on to Balaji's film, which is with Remo sir, and that's a superhero concept. So ever since I was a child, I was fascinated by superheroes, and it was always a dream for me to, be a real life superhero. And now I'm getting to be a real life superhero. So I'm looking forward to that film, and that's also a very exciting subject and concept. I've met Karan sir a couple times, but very casual meetings. He just wanted to get to know me and what my interests were, what my take on cinema was. So yeah, I can't say I've signed anything yet with Dharma or Karan sir's banner, but we're definitely in talks. And Karan sir, as of now, I'm sure he's very busy with a lot of subjects. So yeah. I don't want people to say that it was a fluke and I'm a one-hit wonder. And the pressure has definitely increased, but I thrive on that pressure. I mean, that pressure is my motivation. It drives me to work harder. And I definitely want to prove to people that there's a lot more coming. The superhero film, I don't know how much I'm supposed to disclose, but I think I need to stay in some sort of a superhero kind of shape. Not too much as well, because the character is quite young, and at the same time, before he gets his powers, he doesn't really have, a superhero kind of a body language. And as for Sajid sir's film, it's again a young boy, so I don't want to really overdo the body. There's a lot of heavy action sequences, so I need to stay very mobile and agile for those, because the action we're trying to show is definitely on a very different level. So I need to keep myself very mobile and agile, so I can't afford to put on too much weight. I guess me personally, I'm just not very, I'm not a very social kind of a person. I don't have very many friends. I'm very to myself. I like to be isolated. I like being, I don't know if this is the right word, but I'm very insecure about my career. I want everything to go right, and I want to stand out, basically. That's why I think what worked for me in my launch in HEROPANTI was, before entering the industry, I said, okay, there's so many heroes entering. What gives me the right to be a hero? What gives me a right? Just because I'm my father's son doesn't give me the right to be a hero and follow in his footsteps. He's the star, not me. How do I project myself on screen, and what do I want to project, more importantly? So I did a lot of soul searching, and I realized that I definitely am different in my looks. Sajid sir actually brought this to my attention, so did my mother, that I have a very soft, innocent face, childlike face, and a tough body. So that contrast that supposedly worked for me. Along with that, my skill sets, I'm an okay dancer and I'm okay at action. So I think that what makes me, stand out from the rest. I'm always prepared in terms of that. If I do, for instance, every time I go for a stage show or an awards ceremony, everybody keeps asking me to do a stunt or do a dance step. So, that makes me feel good. And I realized I got a lot of appreciation for my songs in HEROPANTI and my dancing and my action sequences, especially from little kids. They were mainly my, my supporters. I'm just saying I'm not the kind of person to personally, indulge in these things. I rather spend my time. My mentality is basically sickening work ethic, sir. When you're sleeping, I'm working. When you're partying, I'm working. When you're eating, I'm working. I want to be ahead of myself, 2 steps ahead of myself. I'm tempted by some foods, like chocolate. Chocolate is my temptation. But I have to give up chocolates. I have to give up certain foods to, look a certain part on screen. and to maintain this image that I've created for myself, basically. All these guys are, they're superb in their own way. I mean, if I don't even want to compete with them, I want to compete with myself. I want to compete with the likes of Michael Jackson and Bruce Lee, and this is the level I've kept for myself. I don't want to compete with a Varun. I don't want to compete with a Siddharth or whoever, because these guys have their own style, and there's no point mimicking them, or no point. I know what my plus points are. I know what my weak points are. I mean, these guys are I'm fans of all of them. I mean, their work, and I know for a fact that I can't do half the things Varun or Siddharth can, or any of the upcoming actors. I haven't seen what they're all about, but in the industry, I only look up to HRITHIK Roshan, and I try to emulate him as much as I can without, trying to be him, without trying to copy him, but just trying to look at him for inspiration. So yeah, if I want to be compared someday, I'd like to be compared to HRITHIK sir. You can't pinpoint. He's got everything. He can do a Bang Bang, he can do a Dhoom 2, he can do a Krish, and then he can go to the complete opposite spectrum and do a Guzarish and a Koi Mil Gaya. So, once you've done all the extremes on both sides, then whatever you do in the middle, that's piece of cake. And as for him, his body language, his physique, his looks, not only does he have the aesthetics, but he has the craft also nailed. I mean, nobody has that full combination dialed in. And what he brought in Kaho Na Pyar Hai, I don't think anybody's been able to emulate that launch. After Kaho Na, I don't think there's been such a launch. He knows that I'm a huge fan of him, and I respect his work ethic and his work a lot. He's very kind. He says he's a fan of me, which I think is ridiculous. He says that he doesn't want his kids to grow up to be like him. He wants his kids to grow up to be like me. So he's putting his kids into dancing, into gymnastics, this, that. And that was probably the biggest compliment that I've ever received. Funny enough, my father's gotten his second wind now, and he's doing very well for himself. I don't want to disturb him and his career, and his thinking process is very different from mine. And my mother she's more like a supporter, more like a backbone, more like my home PR, but as far as picking my films, as far as taking the right steps in my career, I would give that to Sajid Nadyadwala. He's been like a godfather to me, and he didn't have to give a newcomer a break. I don't know what he saw in me, but I'm very thankful that he gave me HEROPANTI and changed my life last year. I owe him that, responsibility over me. I mean, he's made me whatever little I am today. After HEROPANTI, there's been the responsibility over me has become much greater. There's a certain way I have to behave in public. There's a certain, mannerism I have to maintain. Especially, when people keep coming up to you, it's the best feeling. So I can't let that go to my head. I'm just getting used to this, and everything's happening so fast. I'm just so thankful. I'd like to touch as many people as I can, and whoever wants to take a picture, or wants to touch me or hug me, I'd definitely love to.